Fatherhood. It's often defined as the act of a male raising one or more children. And while that's a perfectly acceptable interpretation, it doesn't fully encapsulate the many profound nuances of the term. For example, how does the absence or presence of a father impact a child's life? And furthermore, how does leading a household as a male differ from case to case? Hello and welcome to Embracing Fatherhood, the show where we take you on a journey of exploring the concept of being a father. To aid our investigation, we'll be joined by experts and other contributors who'll be giving us their understanding, perspective, and knowledge of the subject. Now, a common thread that you're going to find on the show here is the group of daddies that we've gathered to get a bit of insight into the stories of their lives and how they molded them into the daddies that they are today. But firstly, of course, introductions.
My name is Nephew, aka Mtloholo Lagavige Tepo. I'm just a 34-year-old guy at this moment. Other than that, I'm a dad, a brother, and a son, and an uncle. Yeah.
My name is Jay Mutibi. I am a father of 4 daughters, married. She's beautiful. I'm a professional in the space of media.
My name is Eddie Mihigo. I'm from the DRC, but I've been in Botswana for 24 years now. Got married in 2012, met my wife on the basketball court in 2007, I think it was. And yeah, we started dating then. I got engaged in 2010, got married in 2012. And then I had my first child in 2014, a boy. And this year I had my second child, a girl. So I'm a father of 2 now.
My name is Tuli, or Tularanyo Tuli Pete, also known as Samba T, or Samba the Prodigal Son in the musical hip-hop fraternity. I'm a husband, happily married, father of 2 very energetic boys.
As you can see, we had a very versatile group of dads sitting with us. And the most important thing we wanted to know from them is about their upbringing. Did they have a father or male figure in their lives? And furthermore, what was the nature of that relationship?
My background was sweet, man. I can't complain. I had a father. He was always present. He raised my brothers and I. I have an older brother and 3 younger brothers and an older sister. Can't forget that one. And, our family always had family gatherings. So I'd also see my uncles with their kids. My cousins had kids. Father figures were all over. It's nothing foreign to me. And, they have the, what is it called? Strictness. He wasn't always just all jolly, play. Nah, he put his foot down like, no, you can't do that, you can't do this. Approach things in this way. So he guided me into the man that I am today. And yeah, man, I love him to this day. He's still around, so props, pops. I learned more from his mistakes than him sitting me down and telling me, yo, can I did this, don't do that, what. It was more of, okay, probably don't consume too much alcohol, a way of being clean about it, and just treat people. What I liked about my dad is that he has a romantic, he's a hard romantic, whatever. He's a loving guy. He loves love, So from the way he treated my mom and my stepmom, because they separated, I could see that this guy really loves passionately. So he instilled that in me, whether it was directly or indirectly. I think I took that into the relationship that I'm in right now with Mahon Nan. So yeah, just those 2 things really. Is just observation, me learning from how he's moving and stuff.
I was raised by a single parent. Papa mo ka tswa tshabile go raise, but I know him. We usually meet. Ha re nke re founelana hela, but ha gona le ditiro tse di re tlhoka ra kopana e be re di dira or re kopana ko ditirong, but he didn't pitch for my wedding though.
Nna ke gola ke godisitswe ke batsadi ba me botlhe e bue mme le rre nna ntse le teng mo botshelong ba me. Tota ntate wa me ke motho e leng gore tota na le lorato tota mo baneng ba gagwe tota botlhe fela. Tota ntate wa me ke ene motho e leng gore tota nkare ke ene role model ya me gona na, cause ga ise ipe ka tsatsi lepe ka utlwa my mother or bonna ke bonkgonne ba lla ba botsa gore papa o kae. No, he was always there for us. Tota o nthutile gore monna ke ene tlhogo ya lelapa. O nthutile gore monna o tshwanetse gore a bereke ka natla gore a tshetse family ya gagwe gore dilo dingwe di seke di a tswa mo tseleng. Tota tse dintsi ke tsere mo go ene tota, even though a ntlogetse mo botshelong, may his soul rest in peace. Ke motho o na le gore tota ebile mo baneng ba go ba banna na ntse a ba directa gore monna ntse a ireng a se ka irang, ga go ntse yana ireng a se ka irang wa bona. Ke motho o ne le gore na le lorato tota e le gore a kgothatsa mo pelong, ga e le gore na le mathata a tla go bolelela gore ngwanake a ka kgona go rekela kgokgo. Why? Because 1212 ga gona madi gona ana, mme ke motho e le gore ene tota ka bo ene hela ke mo rolela hutsi.
With fatherhood or defining a father, we don't have a fixed definition because fatherhood is a social construct in the sense that the society kind of gets to define who a father is. But if I was to define fatherhood, I would say it involves a male parent who is in a phase or a stage of trying to parent a child, depending on the stages that we have, from pregnancy to birth of that child to growing up and raising that child, maybe until death do them apart.
I'm an only child. Interestingly, so is my wife. She's from a single parent family, but she's got a very strong relationship with her father and her step siblings. I'm from a two-parent home. My parents have been they've been married, I think, 41 years now. Yeah, and but the dynamic is very interesting because, in as much as they've been married that long, they spent almost 20 years living in different places separately while still being married. So it really influenced the relationship I had with each one of my parents, but also it allowed me to learn how to have a relationship with my son and my wife and her family and everything.
I grew up in a blended type of family. In that I've got a white sister and I've got a white brother, well, semi-arid. And I've had two father figures, or should I say two male figures in my upbringing. My original father has never been there, in that he's a pilot. And so he had to leave to go push his hours to be able to get all kinds of pilots. So he never saw me grow. And then I got raised by my stepfather, who basically taught me how to become a gentleman. But it was never nice, in that you always have this thing, wait, where is that guy?
I'm from a single parent home. I was raised by my mom. Throughout my life, my mom's been my father and mother. Of course, I had my extended family, my uncles especially, who were around, who raised me as well, and my aunties. My father, I only knew through gifts. I had my uncles, who my mom's brothers who stayed with us. So I grew up under them. I didn't have an understanding of, do I have a male role model when I was growing up? That wasn't something that, as a child, I could wrap my mind around. Those are things that make sense now when you're mature, like, who was your male? But I had uncles, you know, I had people who were raising me, who showed me love, you know, taught me how to ride a bike and all that, you know. So yeah, it wasn't my father, not my biological father. Yeah.
Me hela ke itumela gore my mom o re raise sharp, o re netse sengwe se ne re se batla mo go ene, ebile o na tshwere thipa ka ga bogale. She is more of a man than a woman. She's more than that, and I'm proud of that.
My dad has always been conservative. He's to this day still conservative, traditional. So that means he rules for starters. So he's the president, the general. I remember one time he told me to my face, he's like, "I'd really appreciate it if you called me sir." I mean, we laughed it off, but I knew it was coming from a very serious place. Initially, he ruled by the belt. So if you messed up, you got a beating and a half, sometimes two. And I never understood why he was so hard on me. This guy was really, really hard on me. And people would be like, "No, but Eddie, you're the only child, you're spoiled." I'm like, you don't know. Like, you know, you see, in my house, there's no dividing beatings. You know? Like, everything is coming to you. You know, that's how I live my life. But interestingly, as I grew older, things started changing a little bit. You know, I went my post teen years, like when I got into my 20s, I was sent to school in Namibia. For the first time in my life, I was going to go to a place where I was going to be by myself, no parents, and it was disastrous. It was horrible, didn't work out, and I went from being an A-star student to damn near dropping out of college, right? And I remember when I moved back to Botswana from Namibia, and my dad sat me down, it was me and my mom, just the three of us in the house, and he's like, "You know what? When we came here, it was just the three of us. Now we're here, it's just the three of us. So I don't expect anybody else to be involved in this situation right here. We're gonna get through this, the three of us." And I think that's the first time my father talked to me as an adult, not as a child. And I think something struck in me, like something happened, and that started shifting our relationship, because now I started looking at him more as a friend than as a father. I think my father started realizing that I didn't have to live by his rules anymore. I realized that I was becoming my own man, and that meant not living by the life my father had planned for me.
I've got my father who brought me into the world, right? And then I've got my dad who actually groomed me to become me. He taught me quite a lot of things. And the road was slippery slope, but it was an incline. And him and I developed this thing, because when my mom met him, I was my mother's first child. And at one point, because he was more interested in Oledi, he had to take Oledi with whatever baggage she comes with. And then she figured, oh, here's this kid that is willing to learn quite a lot. When I tell people that I'm self-taught in terms of English, the art of speaking English, is because I will sit down with this guy and I'll ask him, this dad of mine, and I'll ask him, dude, okay, so when I say this word, can I put it in context of a sentence, and can it make sense? And he'll say to me, no and yes, but try it and see how you feel about it. Do you get the response from the people? So he's always been this amazing gentleman to me in terms of my upbringing. The first trip I've ever did in the world when I went to the States was financed by my dad. I've been in all kinds of competitions where I've come up top because of him. I mean, we played basketball at one point, and it created me to become now this gentleman that just appreciates life for what life has since put my way. Nothing can ever stop me, and I say thanks to this dad of mine.
Yeah, my cousin didn't have a dad in his life, and he would tell me every now and then, hey, you guys are lucky, man. Hey, your dad is the best, dog. Hey, but in a way, I think he adopted my dad as his, and that made me appreciate it even more. Hey, yeah, but I do have a dad, and it was really dope because he took care of him, us, and pretty much anybody who was a youngin at that time. He was always present as a father figure, and it wasn't just my cousin alone. I think also his older sister. Yeah, he was like a father figure to her too. So it was pretty dope of him to do that, showing up like that.
I had a great upbringing, my mom showed me absolute love as her only child at the time. I lacked nothing. My mom's a disciplinarian. She got it from my grandmother. So, as much as I can say I would be spoiled for choice, I was learned in proper manners and and courtesy and just respect. So she raised me well. She provided for me, and yeah, I can say her life ideally must have revolved around building for herself and making sure that she's carrying me along.
As our guests have already expressed, family settings are vastly different. While there are those of us who have our biological fathers present in our lives, there are those of us who have a different male figure fit in that role. And then there's a different group who have neither one of those character types present and have to have a different individual fill in the role of a guardian. Let's find out how that has impacted their lives.
I can tell you it was negative to a positive. Because of not having him around, not having a father myself, I remember telling my mom, when I have kids, I'm going to be the greatest dad I can be to them. I'm going to be there for them because I didn't have that, I'm going to make sure that I'm there for all their experiences. So it's kind of worked out in that way. Yeah, where I'm taking what was lemons and making lemonade of it now.
We are a fun bunch, right? That's the atmosphere. We're fun. We enjoy each other's company. There's always an episode. We've got these things called movie night, where we all sit together and we're like, you pick a movie, okay? And I'm like, man, why pick that movie? I'd fine, just watch it. So we're really quite the fun, quite the inclusive. We talk a lot, we discuss, we make plans together, and that's why I bring them along to wherever I go.
It's communication first and foremost. Communication. That in the household obviously turns into, hey, what are you doing? And shouting, but when it gets to the point where I have to administer, a whipping, I don't hold back from that, but I communicate. I'll tell both of them that I don't want to end up having to wallop you guys. I don't. So don't push it till it gets there, and they push it. They're boys.
What I've learned from him is what not to do. Right, what not to do, and I'm appreciative for that, because had he not been around, I think I might have raised my son the way I was raised, But having had that journey with him, I know what I can do, and I know what I won't do.
As a father, you have a role of helping the mother in a family setup. You have the role of co-parenting, whereby it can depend whether the mother is present in this relationship or she's not present. You get to meet the other parent halfway. You get to do duties and responsibilities alongside the mother.
There's no marriage script to raising a family. You gotta wing it. And when you do it, you gotta have like the proper mindset. in that, okay, so if I'm going to go out tonight and get drunk and my child has to go to school tomorrow, how does my child get to school or have something to eat, or my wife, or whoever? So sometimes that's when you have that selfish conversation and say, you know what, I'm going to remove myself from the equation and focus on the family.
A thousand thank yous to all the daddies that we had on the episode today, sharing their valuable experiences. We will, of course, be having them on the next series of episodes. But in the meantime, fatherhood in a religious context. And for that, we join a man of the cloth.
Monna meaning a male figure, but to be re, so ha Bible lebella re, imo lebella not only as a father, but imo lebella as a provider, imo lebella as a security, imo lebella as a guider. A father, Bible ha imo lebella is a source of everything. Bana ba ithuta go tswa mo go rre. Then Mabone will expand the Thuto ya ba irutilweng ke Rabone. But they will hear it from their father. Then they will expand it by Mabone. That's how the Bible is.
If you're joining us now, you've caught us in the last minutes, but you're still in good fortune though, as this was only the first episode. So be sure to join us again next time as we embrace fatherhood. But in the meantime, for all you daddies out there and anyone in your vicinity who is enjoying your company and the abundance of love that you give, all we can say is sure, papas.